Hi guys. For today's do's and don'ts, we're going to be looking at do's and don'ts for contouring. Woo! I definitely don't think contouring is as huge of a trend now as it was a couple of years ago. However, it's still something that I'm asked about all the time. And I still see when I'm out and about, which is rare, but I still see kind of erroneous contouring out and about. And I just thought I'd bust a couple of myths and show you how I like to contour best. First of all, looking at some don'ts. On this side, we can see unblended jawline stripe. Yes, there's a contour there that you can see when I look dead ahead, but actually it's really quite low and it's quite flat. I mean, who knows what's going on with that nose? And then I have highlighted a bit too, because they often go hand in hand, don't they? And I've never been a fan of the light bulb tip of the nose look, but also definitely don't love big metallic swathes of highlight across the cheek. So on this side, I've done foundation and concealer, but I will just show you how I like to contour. First of all, two of my favourite contouring products. They're both cream, and that's the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand, and then my beloved Huda Tantour. And I think I'm going to use my Tantour because I've used this a lot. If you want to see how I use it, do go back through a couple of my recent videos. I'm going to use my Tantour, and I'm going to use to apply it an Artis brush just to show you where I place it. So this is the shade medium, and I like to use creams because I think it's really nice to blend all your cream based product first, and then you can finish up with powder products later. So I'm getting a bit onto my Artis brush, not loads. As always, I'm going to put it on the back of my hand just to check how much I've got on the brush. And then, rule of thumb, when you're looking for your cheekbone, suck in a little bit, but I also like to roll a makeup brush under my jawline and then fit, that's it. Oh, can you see that? And feel where the bone is. I've actually left a bit of a mark there. But what I don't want to do, as I've done here, the contours come significantly below that, and it's made this space look really deep. So what I will do, finding the bottom of my cheekbone there, is I'm actually going to come above it, and I'm not going to pull too far forward. I'll leave it at that. I will take some of this along my jawline. Nice and gentle though, because we'll blend that out in a sec. And of course, as always, I'm going to take it across my forehead. I've got quite a large forehead. Liam, can you see me saying it properly for you? And then actually blend it through my temples as well. So that's where I'm going to start with my placement. Now I've got most of it off my brush, I'm going to use whatever's left just to do a little bit. There we go, down the side of my nose. Not loads, just a little bit. Now I'm going to switch brushes. This is an It Cosmetics dual-ended brush, Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection. And I'm just going to work at blending that out. So I'm just making sure I buff the Tantour right into the skin, down the temple. I'm going to buff this jawline bit first, because while it's great to have a little bit of shade, you don't want to end up with a stripe. That's not a good look. And then I'm going to blend this bit too, but I'm going to make sure, if you watch, I'm going to blend up. So we're warming the colour up the cheek first, and then I'm going to go in with the bigger brush. Did you hear that? I'm going to go in with the bigger brush and just further blend that, because what I do want to do is I want to avoid any striping. But what I don't want to do is inadvertently bring the contour too low down. So that's my starting point. So always start with creams. Let me just do, this is a bit of Anastasia Beverly Hills vanilla powder. So let me just set a little bit. Oh, did you see that huge fluff of powder? So let me just work at setting that a little bit. Oh, she says, let's just blend that soft nose contour there. Just keeping it nice and slim. Great. And then what you can do is you can supplement with a contour powder. Now this is the Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow, and I'm going to get that onto my Urban Decay. This is the contour definition brush, and I'm just going to dip into that contour colour. It's slightly flatter, you'll note. Again, tap it into my brush, and then I'm just going to look just to emphasise just at the top of that contour. Now, I'm not a contour genius, and I'm not talking here about, you know, the Alexis Stone incredible face completely altering contour. I'm just looking at how you can best add that little bit of definition in a way that just gives your face a bit more shape without doing this whole stripy situation. Right, let me do a bit of blush. I'm going to use a bit of Bobbi Brown Pale Pink just on the apples of my cheek. I'm using a Zoeva. This is the Luxe Sheer Cheek, and I'm going to pop that just on the apple of my cheek and blend it back into the bronzer. There we go. Just to help give my cheeks a little bit more of a lift. And then what I usually do, both, you know, to myself and with my clients, is I'll then often go over the top with a little bit of bronzer. Let me grab a bronzer brush. Classic. How can I not really have a bronzer brush? Okay, I'm going to use a little Beauty Pie Mini. And this is my Bobbi Brown Medium. And I'm mainly going to use this, actually, over the top of my forehead, just to make sure that that warmth is really set in. And then a little bit through the temples. Let's blend out the jawline and bring down a little. How's that looking? Yeah, nice and soft. And then let's move on to a little bit of highlight. Now, if you struggle with highlighter, I can't recommend enough using something like Illamasqua Beyond Liquid Highlighter. It's so gentle, it's so soft. But I'm going to use the champagne pop that I've used on this side and just do it much lighter and much more precise. So let me just go in. I've got a much smaller brush. This is the Louise Young LY41. I'm going to go into the highlighter. Now remember, this is intensely pigmented. It's a really popular highlighter, but a little goes a really long way. So I'm really making sure I've worked it into the brush. And then I'm just going to see the light there. That's where I'm going to focus that highlight and build gently just with what's on my brush. There we go. How natural does that look versus that? And then something I always teach my students is with a clean brush. This is a Louise Young 51A. Just go over and buff out the edge. So just like the contour, you can't see where that highlighter starts or finishes, unlike this bit here, where you can see like a drastic change in texture. Do I want to highlight the nose? I could do a little bit, but I'll just keep it to the brow, the bridge of the nose rather than the front. And then what I haven't done is a little bit of eye contour. Now I love to take my medium bronzer from Bobbi Brown on a fluffy brush. I've got a 227 from Zoeva. I love to sweep that through the crease of the eye. And if you want to, you can bring it right into the inner corner and connect that to your nose contour. But honestly, this is so subtle, but it just helps to kind of bring everything together. Do you see? Just bring a bit across the front of the nose. There we go. Nice. Nice and gentle. And then if you want to, something else I quite like is to then go across the temples. This is a trick taught to me by Crystal Dawn. So seeing where your cheek contour is, you want to mirror that just a little, very gently across the temple. Again, just to give that slightly lifted look. Okay. And there we go. Guys, as I said, this isn't a tutorial in, you know, the wizardry, magical, face completely altering contouring that you do see out there. This is just my kind of rough guide for pretty, subtle, wearable, everyday contour. So you avoid some common mistakes like this. I hope that was helpful. Loads of love and I'll see you guys soon.